The world was destroyed. The once vibrant cities that were full of smiles and laughter is now buried in darkness and in ruins, with the only remaining things are corpses sprawled everywhere. The world has become desolate of almost all living beings. A guy gripping his spear and mumbles out, "Tell me," as he clenches his teeth and grips his spear even harder and mumbles out once again, "Why?" Through his gritted teeth, he bellows out, "Why? Why did everyone have to die because of you? Heavenly demon! Why did you have to end the world?" Out of nowhere a voice echoes out, "You have done well, awaken Ali Shinhyik." Vega, the Star Weaver goddess of Lyra, descends and looks down at Shinhyik and says, "You have killed the heavenly demon, and the world is finally saved from his vile clutches." Shinhyik hunched over and says, "Ha! Saved? Ha ha, seriously?" He looks up and bellows out, "Shout your fucking mouth. How can you even say that this can be counted as saving the world? That monstrous thing has destroyed everything and killed everyone. There is nothing left of this so-called world." As we rewind time about 10 years ago, one day, gates appeared all over the world that connected to all kinds of different realms. Mysterious and savage monsters poured out in endless waves from these gates, and the world quickly became hell on earth. As the world was in ruins and the monsters almost have taken over the entire world, these transcendent type beings called Celestials arrived. And each of these Celestials have marked the humans with their constellations, that they called stigma. It gave the humans a way to fight back these monsters, and that is when the humans were born to understand the stars. And those humans became superhumans known as Awakeners. And they became humanity's last hope, and slowly the world was regaining its light. But then out of nowhere, he appeared. The sky's devil known as the heavenly demon, Guan Ojin. Although at first he was just an ordinary awakener at first, but he possessed the black heaven trait that allowed him to absorb stigmas from any and all awakeners, even the power from the Celestials themselves. And just like that he quickly and rapidly grew stronger. Every single awakener, and even the Celestials, banded together by the thousands, and combined their strength in order to destroy the heavenly demon. But that monster, he had slaughtered every single one of them by himself and devoured the Celestials. The apostles, the warriors, the Celestials, everyone. Everyone has died at the hands of that monster, and that was the end of this world. As the goddess was looking at him, filled with sympathy, and says, "But the heavenly demon is now dead. You have killed him. Awakener Li Shinhyik, did you not?" Getting no response, the goddess then spreads out her arms and says, "For slaying the heavenly demon and saving the world, in accordance with the pledge of the stars, I shall grant you one wish." The pledge of the stars, it can only be used by the Celestials of the North Star, and allowed them to grant any wish. As Shinhyik stands up with a look of determination and says, "I will going back. Please send me to the past." The goddess squints her eyes and says, "Are you saying your wish is to regress?" Surprised, she blurts out, "Are you insane? Are you planning to repeat that horrible past? What if you make things even worse than they already are?" Shinhyik looks at the goddess and says, "I know it's a gamble, but it would be completely different this time." He pats his chest and bellows, "I'll change it. I will change everything. I won't let things become a desolate wasteland." The goddess looks at his serious face and thinks to herself, a regressor is a unique existence that can defy the fate of the world. But, with a sigh, she says, "Fine. In accordance with the pledge of the stars, I shall send you back in time." But just then Shinhyik says, "There is just one more thing. This is only a proposal and not a wish, Vega, but I would also like you to bestow me your stigma of Lyra." As her eyes almost bulge out of her head from listening to his request, and couldn't help but think this guy is an idiot, and says, "You do know that the human body can't endure my stigma? That is why the heavenly demon was unable to devour it, because his body would not be able to control the power, and just combust." In anger, she looks down at Shinhyik with a look of disdain and says, "Do you think you would be different just because you saved the world?" With a look of desperation, and pleads with the goddess, "There would be no point in returning to the past if I couldn't even do that much. I am sure you know that already, don't you, Vega? With a sigh she says, fine, Heaven-defying Star. When you return. And in a monotone voice she says, you will have my stigma of Lyra and I will visit you myself. Surprised by her declaration, Shinhyuk says, but if you return, won't you lose all your memories if you go back in time? Vega looks at Shinhyuk and says, yes, that is true. I will not be able to remember this timeline, but regardless, if you hold my stigma, then my past self would be able to recognize you as my regressor. That is, of course, if you can even survive it, and if you're able to endure and survive, then my past self might even make you my apostle. Flabbergasted, he couldn't help but think, are you serious? You'll be able to become a North Star's apostle? An apostle is something that all awakeners coveted but were unable to achieve. It would be an amazing opportunity. Shinhyuk couldn't help but think to himself, now that all my preparations are completed. Heavenly Demon, I have memorized your face. I will find where you first became an awakened. All I have to do is wait for you to appear and return to you what you have done to me. I will return the favor by killing you from the very start. The goddess cuts off his monologue and says, now I shall begin the pledge. Looking up at the goddess, she then gives him a final warning, please, be careful, Heaven-defying Star. After hearing her final warning he goes into deep thought, everything that I have lost, everyone I could not protect, and everything that I have regretted, I will without a doubt change it all. I will not let the past repeat itself. As Shinhyuk was floating through time, he was receiving system prompts saying, the stigma of Lyra is being granted to the body of Awakener Lee Shinhyuk. As the stigma of Lyra is being granted, the existing stigma of Pixis will disappear. Just then, he started receiving warning prompts saying, warning! As the stigma of Lyra is too powerful, Awakener Lee Shinhyuk's body is collapsing. Unable to see the prompts, he was receiving flashbacks of his younger brother, Lee Woohyuk. He was strong enough to be chosen by one of the 12 zodiacs, but he was killed by the heavenly demon. As he lost all hope, and on his knees kneeling before his dead brother and yelling, why? Why are you doing this? What has he ever done to you? The heavenly demon just stares at him and says, I don't know. If you hadn't abandoned me back then this might not have happened. As he opens his eyes, he was confused, huh? That face. Where have I seen him before? Startled, he receiving more warning prompts that says, warning, you are now entering an unstable state. Just then the stigma's power starts going out of control and starts yelling in pain, Krah. Then out of nowhere, he opens his eyes wide, as he hears a familiar voice from behind, what the hell? Why the fuck is this bastard suddenly acting like this all of a sudden? This voice? As he turns around and looks over his shoulder, he sees a guy looking at him. With a look of distraught the guy asks, dude, are you alright? Shinhyuk looks up and was completely flabbergasted. The heavenly demon? No way. He is already in front of me? But how? Just then, he coughs up blood, followed by blood leaking out of all his orifices. He then receives more warning prompts saying, the disturbance of your emotions has intensified your already unstable situation. Due to your state, the stigma has become more erratic. Your body is about to be completely destroyed. Completely ignoring the prompts, he could only think, why? Why is the heavenly demon already here? No! I have to. Hold on, but... Just then he recalls the goddess saying, your odds of survival are less than 1 in 1,000. No, it won't even be 1 in 10,000. As he slowly closes his eyes he couldn't help think, so in the end, I wasn't able to become that one. Then all of a sudden you can hear teeth grinding together and someone yelling, he's dead? You. Fuck. You fucking pussy. You should have at least killed them all before you fucking died. As he picks up a stick and starts yelling, what the hell am I supposed to do now? I'm not even a fucking awakener. Damn it. Shit. What the hell was that? I can't believe someone could just die from kneeling on the ground. Who the fuck dies like that? As he starts patting Shinhyuk down. He has to have something that I could use, right? I mean, he can't only rely on his stigma. Just then he notices something odd and says, "Huh? What is up with this stigma? I have seen it before." Then all of a sudden he receives a system prompt saying, "The Black Heaven's first awakening will now begin." Dumbfounded he says, "Huh? What the fuck is this? Black Heaven is absorbing the stigma of Lyra." As his eyes bulge out, "What? Black Heaven? What the fuck?" Just then he gets blasted full of energy, and receives multiple prompts. Unable to read the prompts, the only thing he can do is yell out in pain, "What the fuck is this? Arg." As he plops down deflated and drained of any energy, finally able to catch his breath, he couldn't help but think, is it finally over? That was fucking hell. Finally able to read the prompts, "You have completely absorbed the stigma of Lyra. The power of the stigma will be adjusted accordingly to the stage of the Black Heaven." Looking down and still dazed, "Huh? A system window? Aren't Awakeners the only ones who can see these fucking things?" As he pulls the front of his shirt down to look at his chest and sees a stigma, and he couldn't help but mumble, "I'm pretty sure that bastard has this." Then out of nowhere a woman descends down right in front of him, lighting up the place like a beacon, and says, I am certain I felt my stigma's presence around here." Completely dumbfounded and think, what the fuck? The woman then continues, "The fact that you have my stigma and I have never given it out to anyone before would only mean you are the Heaven-defying Star, the one who defies fate, the one and only savior of a world that is destined to meet its end. So then, that would make you my regressor." Completely lost, dumbfounded and dazed, he could only think, "Huh? What the fuck? I am definitely not your guy." Only to be blasted once again.